Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. Did it work? No. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. And oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yeah.
It's hump day.
Hey, Muse.
Hey, Scone.
Did Barbie Girl work?
It didn't. I forgot to change it. I'll have to change it tomorrow.
Hey, Muse.
It's hump
Hey,
day.
Scone.
You know when I did the hump day really long extended thing?
Yes.
I didn't have to move my mic away. I just stepped back.
Because you're standing.
Standing now.
It's hump day.
First hump day standing. That feels a little low, Muse. The drops feel low. A little better.
It's hump day.
That's good.
That one's really good.
Yeah. Ryan Clark in about 15 minutes from right now. Todd Walker next hour. Is college football playoff expansion inevitable?
It's hump day.
We'll talk about that today. Baseball regional projections. We'll talk about that today.
It's hump day.
Is Sam Burns about to wreck Las Vegas sportsbooks? We'll talk about that today. We're going to hump, everybody.
It's hump day.
All right, let's delve right into it here. Glad to have you aboard, hanging out with us here on this hump day. Hey, Muse.
Yeah.
Do you remember the 2013 Louisville Cardinal basketball team?
I do. They won the national title.
Wrong!
No, they did. I watched it.
Nope. You see, Muse, it never actually happened. They vacated that title. So the 82-76 win over Michigan in the national championship game. Spike Albrecht, that 17-point first half, Muse, it never actually happened, you see.
What about Kevin Ware's leg injury? Did that happen?
Well, that was just rude, what you just said right there. Nope, never happened. Scars are gone and everything.
Wow.
Rick Pitino, tattoo he got on his shoulder after the Natty, if you recall. He had that bet with his players.
Yeah.
If they won the Natty, he'd get the tat. There it is right there.
It just vanished.
Tat's gone. Never happened. Hey, Muse.
What up?
You remember 2004 USC football?
That was a really good team. Heisman Trophy winner, Matt Leinart.
Yeah, they didn't win a title either. 13-0.
I mean,
Didn't happen.
they beat up on OU pretty bad in the Orange Bowl.
55-19.
That was the score.
Never happened. You know, the most memorable part of that game was actually Ashley Simpson getting booed at halftime. Pretty sure we have Ashley Simpson getting booed at halftime. She was singing La La. And it was basically all Oklahoma fans who had paid. Wait for it. It's worth it. You can hear the guy yelling, "You suck." Actually, if you listen carefully up. That stadium, what I remember about that night, Muse, which never actually happened, was full of Oklahoma fans who had paid a buttload of money. If you remember, a year before, they lost to LSU in the national championship game. So back-to-back years, they realized they paid a butt-ton of money to go to a championship game to watch their team get their ass kicked. And USC was dump trucking Oklahoma, but it never actually happened, Muse. Ashley Simpson never actually got booed in that game. Muse.
Yeah?
You remember Reggie Bush's 2005 Heisman season?
I do.
Didn't happen. 1,740 rushing yards, 16 rushing touchdowns, 478 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. The fumble against Texas, throwing it backwards against the national chip, never happened.
So you're telling me him juking that guy from Fresno State out of his shoes on the sideline, that never happened?
Are we sure that was 2005?
Pretty
that
sure.
might have been 2004.
Well, that didn't happen either. You just said that.
Great point. That's why we can't remember. It's been erased. Hey, Muse.
Yeah?
Do you remember Lance Armstrong's 7 Tours de France?
I do. All in a row.
Nope. Didn't happen. None
Sure?
None of them happened. No, didn't happen. Hey, Muse.
Yeah?
How old are you? What year were you born?
1993.
Well, you would have been 7 years old around the 2000 Olympics. Name Marion Jones ring a bell?
No.
Yeah, she won the 100 meters, the 200 meters, and was the bronze medal winner in the long jump.
That was in Athens, Greece?
It was in Athens, Greece.
Yeah.
Except it wasn't really in Athens, Greece, Muse, because, you see, it didn't actually happen. Marion Jones winning those medals.
Are you sure? I mean, you
Positive.
seem to remember it pretty well.
No, positive didn't happen.
All right.
The 1971 Howard men's soccer championship.
I remember that great.
Didn't happen. 1978 San Francisco men's soccer championship. Didn't happen. Other great accomplishments that didn't happen. The UTEP men's cross country championship in 1983. The Tulsa women's golf championship in 1988, which, by the way, was stripped because of violations in the track and field program.
Oh. I guess a lot of these same athletes. You know,
No. It's just the NCAA.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah. Good
Syracuse lacrosse in 1990. The Arkansas men's outdoor track and field championships 94-95. Never happened. UCLA women's softball 95. Hawaii men's volleyball. Feinswalk still crying over this one. 2002 never happened. Lewis University's men's volleyball championship 2003 never actually happened. Cal Poly won a D2 college baseball national championship back in 1989. Muse never actually happened. And Muse, we have another to add to that long list.
What's that?
The 2021 LSU midweek baseball national champions. Muse, we crowned them last week.
We did. Well, I mean, you did. I was trying.
Stop that.
I was trying to tell you.
Give back the trophy, Muse. Take off the rings, Muse. Deconstruct that extra flagpole out in center field to remove that flag, Muse. Or I guess it's now in the Jerry Lane Champions.
Yeah, out
front
front.
of
Yeah,
the
we
thing.
were
Yeah, you know.
going to let it slide. We were going to let that slide, yeah.
Get rid of the new Intimidator, Muse.
Are you saying they should stop creating the display in the Hall of Fame?
Stop it. They blew it. It was there, Muse. They blew it. One more win against lowly Northwestern State, and you would have been the midweek baseball champions. The undefeated, undisputed, untied, unheralded, or heralded, I guess is what we would have gone for there. Yeah. Midweek baseball champions of this radio show.
And of the world.
Or mostly just of this radio show, because no one else really cares. And they decided to show up, play an uninspired game, Muse. They showed up and ran out 8 pitchers, only one of which threw a single pitch this last weekend in a series that actually matters in the weekend. But still, came up short against the Northwestern State Demons. And clearly this is devastating to LSU's postseason possibilities. Right, Muse?
No.
What do you mean? Can't lose to a team like Northwestern State. Still hope to get in.
You didn't see?
See what, Muse?
Their RPI only dropped 4 spots, Matt.
Ah, see? It matters. Don't tell me that doesn't matter there, Muse. You can't do. Just tell me that doesn't matter.
I mean, got a good shot this weekend to get it back into the top 20.
Yeah. Throw dirt on a Muse. Baseball America, did you see their projections today, Muse?
I did.
Idiots. Got LSU in the field.
What do they know?
Nothing. D1 baseball. See their projections today, Muse?
I did.
Got LSU in the field. Morons. Leaking credibility. Like an old jalopy leaking oil. Bumping on down the road, Muse.
They were so close.
Just like Reggie Bush. Or 2004 USC. Or the
San Francisco soccer teams in the 70s.
Yeah, there was a golf something or other in there,
Yeah.
too. Like a golf.
Cal Poly and D2 baseball.
Yeah.
I bet they didn't lose a midweek game.
Tulsa women's golf, 1988. Can you imagine losing a national championship because the track and field team screwed up? Hashtag NCAA. Well, we'll pick ourselves up. We'll carry on. 2011 LSU football, you've got company. Chokefest. Chokefest USA. Speaking of LSU football, got a signee yesterday. Major Burns, safety from Baton Rouge. Ryan Clark spent a lot of time with Major Burns, training him, etc. He'll join us next, talk about the new safety LSU landed on Tuesday. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, and they have been around for more than 60 years. Love telling you about Clegg's because I love supporting great local businesses that have supported our community for 60 years. That's what Clegg's has done. When you walk into Clegg's, just find someone with a blue shirt, any of their horticulturists, they'll be able to help you out. If you got questions, they can answer them. I'm an idiot. I have no idea about flowers or plants or any of that stuff. So I say, hey, what's something that's going to be really pretty that if I forget to water it for a few days isn't going to die? What's something that doesn't need direct sunlight that can be here in the shade? They have great ideas. Take a picture of your yard, bring it in. Maybe they'll make some suggestions for you. And remember, if you're checking off the honeydews, Clegg's is partnered with True Value Hardware Store, so anything you'd find at a True Value Hardware Store, you can also get at Clegg's Nursery. So, buy local, shop local, support a 60-year-old Baton Rouge business. Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford wants to put you in a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 for just $29,990. And new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Yo, Jacob Hester here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, the place that can be at your convenience during those inconvenient times. I know they've been that for me. I've got 4 boys, right? So sometimes stitches happen. And they have 6 convenient locations, 1 close to you to be able to be convenient for you. Remember, you can also check in online. PatientPlusUC.com is the website. That way you skip the line as well. Patient Plus Urgent Care Center. Get in and get better.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with a certified pre-owned vehicle.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about
Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Flucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Flucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, LSU football got great news on Tuesday. Baton Rouge native Major Burns transfers from Georgia. He makes it official, signs with LSU. So the Tigers bolster a position of need, a guy who knows a lot about that position, and obviously Major Burns is our buddy Ryan Clark. Good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. RC, as always, thanks for the time. How are you, man?
Good, brother. How are you? You know, second time today getting to talk to you. My days are always better, man, with double Matt Moscona.
That is the only time anyone has ever said that in their entire life in the history of this world, so I appreciate it greatly. You're on record, RC. Not even Eric has ever said that, so I
love it.
I appreciate
love
it. We did record the Face First podcast earlier today, so iTunes and Podbean coming up on the DB Precision YouTube channel as well. You can check it out if you didn't catch it today, if you want to catch RC's pod. I wanted to get you on, RC, to talk a little bit about Major Burns, because it's someone that you know well, and obviously it's a position that you know well. So let's just start with Major as a football player, then we'll talk about how it all works with the LSU roster. Yeah. So what can you tell us about Major Burns, the football player?
Well, listen, Major, you know, when he was going into his senior year, he was one of those guys with that meteoric off-season rise, that, you know, one of those guys that became a high four-star. And a lot of it was attitude. You know, you got this guy on a 7-on-7 scene, and he didn't play safety at the time. He was playing corner for us in 7-on-7, and that counts. And he was absolutely dominant. Alpha male. Personality, a guy that's a go-getter, a dog out there, and he has corner talent, corner skills. Like if LSU took him as a cornerback, no one would have batted an eye. But he does have that tackling ability, that physicality that you'd want at the safety position, and also adds that range with that talent, that length, that speed that I think we've been lacking a little bit, or were lacking last year, especially with Grant leaving. Kerry opting out. And I think he's an immediate upgrade over what they have in the room now. And let's be real, how these things happen. Major Burns wanted to be an LSU Tiger. He was committed to LSU. Things didn't work out. They kind of went some other ways with the guys they ended up accepting. And I think that LSU, they realized they made a mistake. And in making that mistake, him feeling like Georgia wasn't necessarily a fit for him, this just ended up being the perfect reunion. You know, he entered the transfer portal at the right time, and LSU had a spot for him, luckily. And I think this is going to be a big move, and now you get more length, speed, and talent with Jay Ward moving to the position, and then obviously Major committing in the transfer portal.
Not only did they have a spot, but it's obviously a spot at a great position of need. I'm glad you said it, RC, because sometimes that's sort of the you hate to say it, but it's kind of like the dirty side of recruiting where offers get pulled. Sometimes guys look late. It happens sometimes, and that's what happened to Major Burns. He spent a year at Georgia. Now has an opportunity to come back to LSU. So let's talk about how he fits in to this secondary with LSU. Is he free? Is he strong? What role might he play in this defense?
So I think what you want to get to, especially when you have a defensive coordinator who's coming from the pro level, is you want guys that can do both. What you don't want to get stuck in the position of, and this is absolutely nothing disrespectful meant toward Jacoby Stevens, but Jacoby Stevens had a certain skill set, right? And so now anytime you played a certain defense, you wanted him to be the down or the box guy. You wanted him closer to the line of scrimmage, on tight ends, on running backs, playing the runner inside the box. And when you had Grant, or whether it was Todd Harris or whoever was also back there, you wanted that guy to be roaming the middle. You don't want that, though. What you want is the way you play the game is if the offensive lineup of the offensive set or formation calls for Major Burns to be down, you want him to be able to do that, and he can't. If it calls for him to be in the middle of the field, you want him to be able to do that. You want your safeties to be interchangeable. And I think when you have a dude this talented, a guy who's willing to be this physical, that's what you get. And I believe that was a huge reason LSU was willing to take Major Burns' commitment in the transfer portal, because they saw some of those things at Georgia. They understood they needed some of those things and kind of wanted to get back to playing that sort of football. And he's a perfect piece for it.
What about his size, RC?
Well, he's probably 2 inches taller than me, stupid long arms, almost like oddly so. What you want. No, I'm just saying,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, because normally, like, when you see a tall dude that can also fix his knee pads standing straight up, it looks, you know what I mean? It's not necessarily the best thing for buying suit coats,
right.
But it's a great thing for playing middle of the field. And he can do that. He also can locate the ball, and the dude can run. You know, this is a guy who was running electronically 4.5 in high school. And so now you get him with the opportunity to get with Tommy Moffitt, that strength program, a year at Georgia as well. He filled out, which I thought was important for him. I think that might have been some of the knock on him. He was kind of a slender guy because he was so long. And now you have a kid that's over 6 foot, corner skills, that can play the middle of the field and learn from a guy like Corey Raymond.
Do you have a comp for him? I mean, does he look or play like someone that's been at LSU recently?
Let me. It's so hard. It's so hard for me to get past freaking Grant Delpit.
Right.
He was so good that year. He's certainly athletic and tracks the ball the way Grant does. But you hate kind of giving a guy that comp because you understand the lofty expectations that come along with it.
Sure.
But then also too, you don't want to go to guys who people don't even freaking remember. And so, I think he is. I think he is a mixture of Grant, probably a little bit from a physicality standpoint. Some of the things we were able to see Chad Jones do. I don't think he's as electrifying everywhere as Chad was, but I do think he can add some of that physicality. I think he can grow into a body size or body type that way. He's a little shorter, obviously. And so I think he's going to be a guy that can do a ton of things for LSU.
Ryan Clark's with us, of course, at RealRClark25 on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe up to the Face First podcast if you haven't done so yet. So what about the rest of that safety position with Jay Ward moving back there, with the guys that they have coming back, of course, Todd Harris, Jordan Tolles, Cam Lewis, and then the trio of freshmen coming in?
Well, I think obviously the freshman everybody's excited about is Sage. Sage Ryan, small school kid. Uncle Trev Falk was to me, I think still, and I know this wasn't in the lineage of seven, but he was pretty dang good.
He was good, man.
And he wore the number as well. So Sage is fast. Sage is big. Sage is talented. But he also played a ton of offense. And so I don't necessarily know how long that transition of getting into defensive football and getting into defensive football enough to be reliable in coverage, how long that takes. But I think he's a guy that's going to be a star, very talented player, works his butt off. He drives up to train from time to time. I think Jay Ward is the interesting piece to me. I remember watching him late in the game, his true freshman year, playing corner, and the other team was just running the football, and he was flying around. And I kept thinking to myself, man, this kid should play safety. But people look at that as a knock, right? If you're a corner and they tell you should play safety, they always look at it as you don't have corner talent. But I think he's physical. He showed last year that he can play inside, he can play outside, he tackles, he can catch the football, he can cover. I think Jay Ward has a chance to be a top 3-round pick in the NFL with his skill set. And so I think that's where the big upgrade came. And so now, if you can play major, or if Jordan Toles is everything we thought he was coming into the school athletically, a kid that could have played basketball in college, now we're getting to the point where we're getting back to these rangy, longer, taller safeties that can be interchangeable. And so I think the room is in a very good spot, now being coached by the coach they should have been being coached by the entire time, Corey Raymond. And so I think we're going to see improvement from that position going forward.
RC, I remember you and I, it was funny when you were talking about Jay Ward, you reminded me of something. You and I had a conversation. You probably had this conversation with plenty of people, but you and I had an attraction when Derek Stingley was in high school, and he was working at attraction one day. And you said to me he would actually be, and again, this is when nobody knew Derek Stingley was going to be Derek Stingley. I mean, he was a kid at Dunham, right? He said Derek Stingley would be the best safety in football if he played safety, and probably should play safety. But he's going to be the first cornerback taken in the draft when his time comes. I mean, he had to be a high school sophomore at that time. So I guess you reminded me that with Jay Ward, saying that sometimes you have guys that have that skill set. I'm not saying that Ward is that guy, I understand. But like there are some guys who have that skill set to where it's transferable. Does that make sense?
No, 100%. Like not every kid can go from corner to safety, and obviously we know just from a skill set, safety to corner is a hard move as well. But when you look at someone that has to make that move, one, you have to be willing to be physical. You don't necessarily have to be physical or be a killer, but you have to be willing to tackle. You have to have the ability to bend and make adjustments laterally in the open field, right? Because you have a ton of open field tackles. We've seen Jay Ward do that. Obviously, Derek Stingley could do that. I know he could do that at 15. Now you have to be able to find the ball. Jay Ward is a guy, I think he had 2 picks in the game last year. He had a pick 6 in the game last year. So now we've seen he can find the football. Then it's about, all right, are you smart enough? This is a dude that played nickel last year. He also played left corner. He played right corner. So now you're telling me you're interchangeable. I can move you around, and you can learn different things on the same day. And so when you put all those pieces together, I think that's why it was an easy move for LSU. You have McLaughlin coming along. Obviously, Derek Stingley is the best corner in football. And Elias Ricks is the guy who had 4 interceptions in the pick 6 last year. And so now you look at that group and you say, okay, how do we get better at safety without losing something at corner? And it was obviously the move with Jay Ward. And I think if you're going to pick any of those guys, he's the one that makes the most sense. And I kind of saw this in his freshman season.
One more for you, RC. Time appreciated. I want to get a thought on Todd Harris, who stepped on campus in 2017 as a freshman, played. He ascended in 18. He was starting in 2019. 3 games in, has the knee injury. And then obviously last year, it seemed like kind of struggled to come back. What is a realistic expectation for Todd Harris in his senior season?
I mean, you hope Todd Harris ends up giving you veteran leadership. I hate to say this. You hope somebody beats him out.
I understand.
And it's so hard because I have to talk about it, and I know them all, and I want them all to do well. But I think for LSU and where they want to go, the athleticism they want at the position, it's hard when you've had the kind of injury history Todd has had in college. It's hard to come back from those things. It's hard to be as good, as you once were. We saw it kind of with John Battle. But if he can lead this defense from an organization standpoint, lining everybody up, adjustment standpoint, I think he's a guy who starts games, maybe not necessarily plays the whole game, but makes plays when you need him, is sound, is smart, is physical in the opportunities, is in the right place. And I think if he does that, he plays for a while. I think any of those things slip, you move to the younger, more athletic players and allow them to get better through making mistakes because you know you'll have the positive upside type plays.
He is Ryan Clark. Great insight as always. Make sure you subscribe to the Face First podcast on iTunes and Podbean or to the DB Precision YouTube channel. RC, always appreciate it, man. Thanks for making some time.
My man, have a good one, bro.
Okay, RC, we'll see you. That is Ryan Clark. This is After Further Review, brought to you by Pluckers. I want to react to some of that. We'll go around the SEC when we come back, and Taylor Calandro for Bourbon Dictionary in about 15 minutes. But that seemed overwhelmingly optimistic where, like, you've got talent, depth, and options. It's all really good at that position where they were not good a year ago. All right, stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine in or carry out. 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bars, sports on TV. That is Pluckers. Of course, with the bad weather yesterday, Bluebonnet didn't open, but they are reopened today. And, of course, you've got the NBA playoffs going on right now. If you want a place to watch, get by Pluckers. Maybe Major League Baseball is your thing, but you can't watch your favorite team because you don't have MLB TV and their games aren't televised nationally every day. No problem. Go to Pluckers because you can just sit down and say, can you please put TV 17 on the A's because you're an A's fan? I don't know why, but you are, let's say hypothetically. And you can watch the A's at Pluckers every single game all season long. And, of course, LSU, hopefully, they'll run into and through regionals. You can watch at Pluckers. Nicholson or Bluebonnet. Dine in or carry out. Award-winning jumbo chicken wings. Ice-cold draft beer. Pluckers if you don't like our wings. Give me the bird.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA, $2,000 can get you into a new Camry for $299 per month. That's $299 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
What if you could truly energize your body and mind from the most fundamental level? Your cells. Cellivate is a revolutionary health-aware approach to energy, focus, and mood enhancement, packing everything you need to optimize your mind and body from the inside out. The unique formula combines top-notch cellular energizers, nootropics, herbal extracts, and powerful antioxidants, all in one sugar-free 12-ounce can. Elevate your cells. Cellivate.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Sports wouldn't be the same without the diehard fans. That's why we're highlighting the fans that do the most. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Well, this is pretty fantastic news considering everything that we have all been through collectively over the last year plus. The NCAA has updated their protocols for championship attendance and masking. This was to be expected, or it was maybe anticipated, but it did become official today, just a little more than an hour ago. Essentially, the NCAA has said there are no more capacity limits or restrictions that are NCAA imposed. Basically, for all postseason events now, it's up to the city or state and municipalities and what their capacity is. So in a place like Baton Rouge, where you can have 100% capacity, or anywhere in Louisiana. So hypothetically, if Louisiana Tech does get a regional, they could have 100% capacity there. All regionals, this would also mean for the College World Series in Omaha, that TD Ameritrade could be at 100% capacity if the city of Omaha is allowing for that at that point. So all of this is fantastic. The other thing that I would tell you, what this means is, with every bit of news like this, it's just further confirmation that this is going to be the expectation come fall. So when LSU plays out in LA in the Rose Bowl against UCLA, provided that California continues to open up, which they have already, they're allowing some fans at their major league games and at their NBA games. So that's all a very positive sign. They're also, I saw today, extending their mask mandate by another month, but that just puts you into the end of June. So it gives you still 3 months, June, July, and August, before you get to the beginning of September when LSU is scheduled to make that trip out to the Rose Bowl. So as we go through the next 3 months, you get more people vaccinated. It is, and more of the country continues opening up. It's just more and more likely that we're going to see full stadiums. We know it'll be the case in the Southeast, but even in parts, that have been slower to adapt and to conform and to open up, it's happening across the country, and this is another great sign. So NCAA baseball championships, you can expect to have, and softball as well. Tiger Park can have 100% capacity. So all NCAA championship events, no restrictions. It's completely up to the local city and state mandates there with respect to capacity. All right, tap to further review. We'll go around the SEC in just a second. Let me remind you about the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. Online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. Beach and pool season, they're here, y'all. Memorial Day's coming up. A lot of people are going to be hitting the road for the beach, for their vacation around Memorial Day here in a couple of weeks. Maybe it's into June or July. You want to look and feel your best. The Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can help. VeloShape, Ultra Shape can help tone and tighten if you need to lose weight. Ideal Protein has worked for me. It can work for you as well. Medical grade supplements, hydrofacials, pamper yourself, get yourself looking and feeling like your younger self. And as always, I tell you about hormone replacement therapy. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online, theantiagingclinics.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Tennessee Volunteers.
A former Auburn cornerback, Kamal Haddon, has committed to Tennessee. So he enrolled in Auburn in January as a JUCO transfer. He's the number 32 overall JUCO prospect, the fifth best JUCO corner in the country, 6'1", 185. Well, Gus Malzahn gets fired, so Haddon decides he's leaving Auburn. He's now committed to Tennessee. He initially chose Auburn over Kentucky, Nebraska, Texas Tech, Central Florida, Washington State, and West Virginia. Of course, the SEC is expected to allow intra-conference transfers to be eligible immediately.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama staffer Tino Sunseri has announced he's accepting a job as the quarterbacks coach at James Madison. He spent the last 2 seasons in Tuscaloosa. He was the starting quarterback for Pitt from 2010 to 2012, if you remember that. Former Alabama's receivers coach Kurt Signetti is the current James Madison head coach. Has been there since 2018, so bringing Tide staffer along with him.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn's going to play under the lights in Beaver Stadium for the first of its home-and-home against Penn State. Game September 18th will be on ABC at 6:30 Central Time. Auburn and Penn State have faced off just twice, both in bowl games, the 1996 Outback Bowl and the 2003 Capital One Bowl. Auburn was 6-5 last year, Penn State 4-5.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas announced they'll kick off September the 11th at Reynolds Razorback Stadium against the Texas Longhorns at 6 p.m. on ESPN. The attendance record at Reynolds Razorback Stadium, 76,808 for the 2010 game against Alabama. Since then, the stadium has expanded, but Arkansas stunk, and then last year was COVID. So it is expected that Texas game on September the 11th will be the biggest crowd ever at Reynolds Razorback Stadium. Of course, Texas and Arkansas are old Southwest Conference rivals. Two teams last played in the Advocare Texas Bowl in 2014. The Razorbacks were a 31-7 winner.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
And stadium capacity at this weekend's baseball series between Tennessee and South Carolina will be at 100% in Columbia. Face coverings not required. It's number 21 South Carolina against number 5 Tennessee in a massive 3-game tilt there in Columbia. South Carolina has been named one of the 20 predetermined preliminary sites for regionals. Of course, 16 will be chosen. So here's a massive opportunity for South Carolina. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. Online, gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, and the New Orleans Pelicans. It is Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, we'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, we do it every Wednesday on a Whiskey Wednesday. It's Bourbon Dictionary. Taylor Calandro, Wine and Spirits Director at Calandro's, will join us. You got booze questions? Get them in now. Tweet your questions at Matt Moscona. Jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, or text me your questions in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Bourbon Dictionary's next.
AFR.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with the certified pre-owned vehicle.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford wants to put you in a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 for just $29,990. And new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, I've had back pain now and then, but it got so bad I couldn't even bend over. I didn't want to resort to pain pills, so I chose Peak, hoping they could relieve the pain.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. Glad you're hanging out here on a Whiskey Wednesday. You know the drill. Get your questions in for Taylor. Tweet us, jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, or text us in the 225-396-4400. Taylor, how are you, man?
Good, Matt. What's up?
Another day, another dollar, another Whiskey Wednesday. What is popping right now over at Calandro's? Any new releases, anything of great interest?
Nothing in particular. This is a slow time of year for alcohol. I mean, alcohol sales in general, but yeah, nothing really pops out. Yeah, it's just a weird time.
Why?
We're in the middle of seasons, and yeah, it's just a weird time.
I mean, I would assume with summer right around the corner, summer here, basically, that you'd actually see a spike.
Well, summer here it's not good for us because everybody leaves and goes to the beach and stuff. So. It's generally pretty slow this time of year.
Well, before you leave and go to the beach, buy your booze at Calandro's or other great local retailers. But, of course, Calandro's a good spot to go. All right, you know the drill. Get your questions in for Taylor. Anything you want to ask, fire away. Let's start with this one from Brett Dagro, who said, ask Taylor, Elijah Craig small batch barrel proof. Is it worth spending $60?
$60 is a great price, actually.
I was going to say, because I saw it last week for like $73, $75, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, it's creeping up to $80 now, I think. So, yeah, $60 is, yes, absolutely 100%, yeah.
Have you had it, by the way? What do you think about the barrel proof?
Elijah Craig barrel proof? It's one of my favorite pours. I mean, I love it. I love Elijah Craig in general, the small batch, too. I think the barrel picks come out great, which is 94 proof, but the barrel proof knocks it out the park for me.
The barrel proof, Taylor, was 118. I was surprised it was that low. I would have assumed that Elijah Craig barrel proof would have been a much higher proof.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of all over the place, but yeah, 118 is pretty low this release.
Okay. Here's one from Brandon Frederick. Ask Taylor, if we can only do 2 to 3 distillery tours the day before the LSU-Kentucky game, what are your suggestions?
Oh, I would definitely suggest Maker's Mark.
Okay.
I love Maker's Mark. I think it's a great facility, and they do everything by hand. They show you everything, basically. I've never been to Buffalo Trace. I've heard it's a great tour, so I would suggest that probably. Or, I mean, Jim Beam's a great tour, too. So You can't really go wrong with any distilleries in Kentucky. I've never been to one to be like and was like, I'll never come back here. So.
By the way, I've also heard just ear to ground with some people in Kentucky in the last week or so that those tours for the weekend of the LSU game are already filling up. So if you're trying to make that trip and you're planning on it, like plan now because you might get left without many options whenever the game rolls around. Craig Dugas asked Taylor, have you tried Calumet Farms bourbon? So I'm getting a 14-year bottle today and wondering if it's worth the price point.
I have not tried the 14-year. I tried the 15-year, and it's delicious. The other offerings from Calumet, too, that I've tried have been good. So, yeah, it's a little pricey. I think it's about $120.
Oh, wow.
I heard it's a good pour, so it's up to you if you want to spend the money.
Let's see. Ask Taylor, how worried are you about Total Wine coming to Baton Rouge? I'll put that one on a tee for you and step out of the way.
How worried am I? I mean, it's a big player in the game. They still don't have the luxury of doing what we doing. Well, I mean, doing what we do, which is, I mean, we've got our hands on everything. So it's another player in the game. We'll see how it shakes out.
Where are they?
They're going to be on Segan Lane, actually.
All right.
In the old Office Depot.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll keep shopping. I'll keep shopping with you.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
All right, you can get your questions in. Remember, you can tweet us at Matt Moscona. You can jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube channel and watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Or you can always text your questions to the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. I'm getting some questions about beers. Any new or good beers people should try right now?
I know Paris Brewing just dropped Double Dry Hop Ghost Brewery only, and I think that's sold out, so that's stupid. Planet Juice, I think is what it's called, from Gnarly Barley. It's an IPA.
Okay.
That one just dropped. We have that at the store right now, too. And Trim Tab Brewing from Pelican, the distributor Pelican, they just launched here, and that's been a brand. I think they're out of Alabama. It's been a popular brand for the past few years.
I didn't realize you had so much beer at your store.
We have a lot of beer.
You have
beer.
Crap
Beer.
load of beer.
Yeah, beer was my first love. It wasn't whiskey. Beer was my first love. So.
Don't tell your wife or your child.
No, I won't tell her.
How many beers do you have at say the Perkins store? Ballpark.
Oh man, good Lord! I don't even know if I could even buy. I would say 1,000 separate SKUs.
That's crazy. I mean,
it's a lot of beer.
The last time you and I were there, I'm habitual like most people, right? I mean, I just go and look at the whiskey, and I know where I go and what I'm looking for and everything. But it was almost like you turned me around, and I looked at a different shelf, and I was like, "Oh, that's all beer? Oh my God!" So,
actually, over the past couple of years, the beer section has shrunk a little bit.
Why?
For seltzers and ready to drinks and stuff like that. So yeah, because I mean the craft beer bubble kind of burst a little bit. It's just kind of plateaued. So
let me see if we can get one more in here. Stephen Walzak asked Taylor, Old Carter, worth the money?
Oh, that's a tough call because it is very expensive. I think it's around $200 a bottle. So it's not worth the money to me. I think it's good whiskey, but it's not worth the money to me.
$200.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're all that much, but yeah, they're around $200 retail. So
yeah, hard pass. He is Taylor Calandro of Calandro's Perkins near Segan, and of course the Government Street location just down the street from us. With us each Wednesday here for Whiskey Wednesday. Thanks as always, man.
All right, Matt, take it easy.
All right, have a great rest of your week. This is After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. I got a quick break. Get you caught up on national headlines with SportsCenter. Come back, talk a little NFL. Saints have re-signed an offensive lineman. Stick around.
AFR.
Love telling you about South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. Check them out online because if it's on the lot, it's online at southpointvw.com. All of their inventory, new and certified pre-owned. You have probably noticed that a lot of auto dealers around town, their lots are kind of empty. And there's this microchip shortage, and I don't need to go into all the detail. Many of you have read about it. One really good thing about South Point Volkswagen is they haven't dealt with that shortage. They have a great full lot of brand new Volkswagens. And because some places inventory is tougher to come by, certified pre-owned and trade-in prices, you're getting max value for your trade-in. So it's a great time if you're looking maybe to get rid of that old car, get into something new, to go to South Point Volkswagen. southpointvw.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hanging with Hanny. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Yo, Jacob Hester here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, the place that can be at your convenience during those inconvenient times. I know they've been that for me. I've got 4 boys, right? So sometimes stitches happen. And they have 6 convenient locations, one close to you to be able to be convenient for you. Remember, you can also check in online. PatientPlusUC.com is the website. That way you skip the line as well. Patient Plus Urgent Care Center. Get in and get better.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA, $2,000 can get you into a new Camry for $299 per month. That's $299 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At front to back, they got not 1, but 2 NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to front to back boat service.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Hand Injury Lawyers. Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. Threw me off. We're here to let you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Todd Walker, 30 minutes from right now. Talk some LSU baseball and all of the SEC heading into the final weekend, regular season weekend of conference play. And then 1 hour from right now, we'll do the Hump Day intro again. If you remember last week, we had some fella who said he'd rather sit in a pile of fire ants with honey on his genitals, naked in a pile of fire ants, honey on his genitals, than listen to the Hump Day intro. And then, do you remember this, yeah? And then
I do.
Somebody said, here it was, Chris LaCroix said, does the guy still have his balls in the ant pile? Well, that guy apparently was David Benoit. I didn't remember his name, but David did text today into the show and said, Matt, we took a poll at our welding shop. It came out 7-2. Honey on genitals, sitting on fire ant mound 7, locked in a room listening for 12 hours of Hump Day 2. I replied, you're all idiots.
Yeah, those guys need to get their priorities straight.
Wow. I mean, as we determined last week.
It was 5%, I think is what it was.
Fire ants do kill people.
5% of the time.
If you're sitting on a pile of fire ants with honey on your genitals, for what length of time did he say it was again?
Didn't he say 24 hours?
No, let's see.
12 hours? No, that was the hump day, right? Or something.
No amount of time.
Oh.
Just sitting on a pile of fire ants with honey on his genitals. He would take the honey on the genitals and fire ants over listening to the Hump Day, which is very stupid. One could actually kill you.
Yeah.
It certainly could cause great physical harm, if not death. Intense physical pain, potentially preventing you from ever having children or maybe even sexual intercourse again, which would be heinous. The other is just annoying. And if you're actually really good at it, you could just ignore it. I mean, I do that to Erica when she talks all the time. She hates it. It's the thing she probably hates most about me is the fact that she talks and I just don't listen. Like, I have that ability to just, like, put up a wall and you don't exist for a minute when you're on the other side of the wall. So if you know David Benoit, I'm going to guess David isn't married. Or if he is, he's very okay with not having children or relations with his wife any longer. Because fire ants on your manhood would very likely put an end to that.
If it doesn't kill you.
If it doesn't kill you. Yes. When we did that last week, I think we had a poll, didn't we? Did we do the Twitter poll last week?
We did. That would take some digging, but we could find it.
Yeah, it was a lot to not a lot at all.
Yeah, most people said the hump day.
Yeah, because most people actually are sane. They actually have some common sense about them. Speaking of really insane things, did you hear what Dan Campbell said, the new head coach of the Lions, former Saints tight ends coach? He was on Pardon My Take. That's a Barstool show. So he was on Pardon My Take, and apparently he wants a live lion at Lions practice.
I'll tell you what I would really love to do just in general, and I've talked to Sheila about this. I don't think we're going to be able to do it, but I would love to literally just have a pet lion.
Yes.
Just a legit pet lion on a chain, a big chain, and he really is my pet. We just walk around the building. We go out to practice. We're in 7-on-7. We're behind the kicker when he's kicking. We're just There we are.
On the sidelines, yeah.
Yeah, you should. You know what you should do is you should get two of them and put them on each sideline and just teach the guys not to go out of bounds. Don't avoid contact.
So here's my feeling on Dan Campbell. I would love it if Dan Campbell were my friend who was on a Vegas trip. Or any kind of guy's trip. You know what I mean? Like, everyone has that friend that's going to say and do stupid crap, and it's just going to be entertaining for everybody involved.
Absolutely.
Everybody's got that guy.
Yes.
I would love it if Dan Campbell were that guy in my life. And he's got a lot of money, so he'd probably buy for everybody too.
True.
You know. Love the personality, love the outgoing part. If you get in a fight, you know, you got really good odds. Former NFL tight end, really big. Every group needs the really big guy who's kind of the enforcer. I would love it if Dan Campbell were that guy in my life. Would not love Dan Campbell to be the head coach of my favorite football team. I will say this, and I understand some of you are going to get really pissed off when I say it, but it's just the best example. It's Ole Miss Ed Orgeron. It has that feeling. It's rip your shirt off and all that, the Wild Boys and all that stuff. That's the feeling of it. And I don't think that's going to end well. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe Jared Goff is going to rally the troops up there in Detroit behind Dan Campbell, and they're going to be awesome. Probably not. But, yes, I love Dan Campbell. Love the idea of a lion on a chain. Love the idea of Dan Campbell coming with our group in Vegas and, you know,
biting kneecaps.
You know, that's awesome. All of that. Don't love the idea of Dan Campbell being the head football coach of my favorite team. So I'm very glad he's in Detroit and not here being the head coach. Tight end coach, okay. Go be the crazy-ass assistant coach that just gets people fired up. It's like the strength coach on the sideline that jumps up and down and
takes
goes,
his shirt off.
Yeah, it's bonkers. I mean, okay, you need that guy. But I also don't want that guy to be the head coach. Okay. Speaking of Saints, so the Saints made a pair of roster moves. They have re-signed defensive back Eric Burrell, who they had waived after he failed a physical last week. He played his college ball at Wisconsin. Played in 36 games during his time there in Madison. And the other move is that they've placed offensive lineman Alex Hoffman on the reserve retired list. Talked about Alex Hoffman on Tuesday. He's the guy who went undrafted out of Campbell. Isn't that right? Something with a C. Don't think it was Colgate. I'm pretty sure it was Campbell College. Anyway. No. Carroll College. It was Carroll College. So, came to rookie minicamp, spent this past weekend at rookie minicamp, found out he got accepted into St. Louis University Medical School and said, hey, NFL, deuces, I'm going to go be a doctor. Good on you. Great to have options and all that stuff. So they had a roster spot, and they used it to bring Eric Burrell back, which is interesting because you had an offensive lineman retire. Conventional wisdom would have been to replace that guy with another offensive lineman because you need that depth. When I look at the Saints' offensive line, though, they got Will Clapp listed as a center, McCoy and Ruiz as center guard, Andrus Peat at guard tackle. They've got Christian Montano. They got Brown, Greenidge, Kelly, and Throckmorton listed as swing offensive linemen. Hurst and Murphy as tackles, and then Armstead and Ramczyk as your starting tackles. That's even with Hoffman retiring, that's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 13 offensive linemen. You know you're going to have your 5 starters. Very likely Will Clapp and Alex Hurst, one as an interior guy, one as a tackle. And you're probably going to have one more. Typically, you're going to keep 8 offensive linemen on your active roster. So you've got your 5 starters, Clapp, Hurst. You really got room for one more. So 5 guys presently on that list aren't going to make the 53-man roster. It's not to say you wouldn't necessarily have a spot on your practice squad, as we've seen, Cameron Tom was a practice squad guy. Greenidge has been there. He's also made the active roster. So we'll see how all that goes. But I guess they're good as far as depth. Where they will certainly need people to emerge is in the secondary, as we've talked about. You got a new secondaries coach with Chris Richard. You know, like when I look at the cornerbacks, Lattimore, Crawley, P-Rob, Grant Haley, Bryce Thompson, and Lawrence Woods. Safeties are Marcus Williams, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Malcolm Jenkins, and then Eric Burrell, who they just signed. And then listed as DBs, guys that could play multiple positions, PJ, JT Gray, Keith Washington, and Deuce Wallace. I'll tell you this. Burrell, I went and checked Mike Detilier's M&D draft report, and he had Burrell ranked 24th among safeties in this year's draft. Mike said he's got good cover skills, but likely a special teams guy. What the Saints obviously need is still help at cornerback. The guy that I'm going to be really interested in is Bryce Thompson. Bryce Thompson out of Tennessee. And remember last year, the guy I told you who I was really interested in was another guy out of Tennessee, and that was Marquez Callaway. Because I knew he had blow the top off, game-breaking speed and big playability, but we saw him at Tennessee. Bryce Thompson was a guy who was a 4-star, went to Tennessee, became a 3-year starter, entered the NFL draft after his junior year this season, went undrafted, and the Saints signed him. But Bryce Thompson's one of those guys that played a ton of football at a high level at Tennessee. And if you're looking for the guy who might be the one-off, who has a chance to make the roster and be a long-time contributor among these guys, I would tell you Bryce Thompson would probably be that guy. So we'll get those answers whenever the Saints fire up training camp this summer. But in the meantime, OTAs going on. Until then, they'll get to some mandatory workouts as well this offseason. And then, of course, in July, it'll be time for training camp. They'll start to pare down that roster for the preseason and the start of the 2021 football season. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by Pluckers. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll continue. Todd Walker in about 17 minutes from right now. We do have updated regional projections for college baseball. That after LSU's loss last night, we get to all that. Glad you're here. AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. Agent225.com, the most user-friendly website in real estate. But what I've got to stress to you is what an opportunity it is to sell your home right now. We are in such an incredible seller's market where people listing their homes are getting, in many cases, above ask, multiple offer situations. So you may say, well, why do I need a realtor if that's the case? A lot of reasons. Number one, do you know how to handle showings? Do you know how to handle closings? Do you know how to handle all of that paperwork and the legality involved? Darren does. And he does it more than anyone because he sells more homes than anyone. The other part is, what about properly listing your home? And Darren has a network of buyers built in to where he may even be able to sell your home off market. You don't even have to go through the trouble of listing it. 335-7666. 335-7666 for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with a certified pre-owned vehicle.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Todd Walker is going to join us in a little more than 10 minutes from right now. Talking about the final weekend in conference play in the regular season for the SEC. LSU did lose last night to Northwestern State. If you remember, Teddy Cahill of Baseball America was here yesterday, and we were talking about LSU's regional resume and what they need to do and how they're looking. This is what Teddy Cahill said on the show yesterday about what the committee was looking for, particularly with LSU.
The RPI, it's their position in the conference, so their conference record or their conference standing in the SEC's case, with it being divisions. The record is more important than whatever the standings are. They're looking at strength of schedule, at wins against top 50 and overall record against top 50 and top 100 RPI teams. And they like to see teams with winning records away from home. But, probably the two biggest things here that LSU has to be concerned about is its RPI and its conference record.
So if you're wondering, after last night's game, the updated RPI standings, LSU at 22. So they went from 18 to 22, still a rock-solid, awesome RPI. Still number 2 in strength of schedule, which is something else Teddy mentioned there. And you heard him also mention your road record. LSU's 8-6 away from home. They have a winning road record this season. The most important thing, aside from RPI, like he mentioned, was conference wins. And LSU's at 11. So you have the opportunity this weekend with 3 games against Texas A&M to continue bolstering that resume. We'll talk about that again with Todd Walker in about 10 minutes from right now. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Couple of things I wanted to get to. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but this did come across today. And, last week at this point, we were talking a lot about the LSU basketball recruiting class after LSU landed Efton Reed. And ESPN has updated their recruiting rankings. And the biggest gainer in all of college basketball was LSU. Michigan was previously number 1. They remained number 1. Gonzaga, number 2. They stayed the same. Duke was 3rd, remains 3rd. Interestingly enough, then you've got back-to-back SEC schools. You've got Tennessee 4th, where they were previously, and Kentucky, even after adding Severe Wheeler, 5th, they remained 5. So that pretty much, that top 5 looks like that's locked in. Kansas, 6, another SEC school, Alabama, 7. So your top 7 all remain the same. There's LSU at number 8. LSU, before getting Efton Reed, was 22nd in these rankings. LSU went from 22 all the way up to 8 by adding Efton Reed. Went from 22 to a top 10 class. By the way, a couple of observations. How about 4 SEC schools in the top 8 of the recruiting rankings? If I told you, hey, there's 4 SEC schools in the top 8 of the recruiting rankings, you go, yeah, that happens every year in football. This is basketball. 4 of the top 8. And Kentucky isn't even the tops. Tennessee at 4, Kentucky at 5, Bama at 7, LSU at 8. Now, the big concern, though, from the league standpoint, well, that's great, is you're top heavy. Because there's not another SEC school in the top 25 of the recruiting rankings. Auburn had been in, and they dropped. They were 11th. They dropped all the way out of the rankings. So, SEC recruiting well, but top heavy. The other thing I'll tell you, the flip side, maybe the not so positive, is as hyped as we are, you see LSU with the 8th best recruiting class in basketball, and I think most of us are looking at that in terms of what that means for this year in the immediate short term for this team with Will Wade and their ability to make a run in March. But when you got a top 10 recruiting class, you're 4th best in your league, it's a little sobering because you realize while relative to the standard set here, that's incredible. Compared to the rest of college basketball, it's elite, but it's not Michigan, Gonzaga, Duke, Tennessee, Kentucky, Kansas, Alabama. So this is going to be a fascinating year in college basketball because it's going to be the first time that we have the full-on effect of the transfer portal with the 1-year immediate eligibility rule. So everybody's rosters more than half turned over this year because of this transfer rule. Which coach, which staff is going to be able to most effectively get their new roster to gel? That's going to be very telling for what happens come this fall and into the winter for college basketball. So keep it. I just want to, again, I told you, I didn't want to spend a lot of time on that. I realized there's not a lot of movement. I just saw those rankings, and there were a couple of observations that really jumped out to me. One other thing I want to get to here in just a quick second. Let me remind you about Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Big shout out. Appreciate our guy, my good friend Jeff Marks, of course, the author of Walking with Tigers. Jeff called yesterday, and I was having some roofing issues, as a lot of people did, amid the storms from earlier this week. We got him taken care of, and he raved about us on Twitter, and I do appreciate it greatly. But let me remind you something that I have said for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, if not longer, here on the show, which is if you have roof damage, there's only 2 ways to find out. You get up on the roof and do a roof inspection, or you wait until it rains and you have water in your house. And unfortunately for a lot of our friends and neighbors with the storms this week, you learned that lesson that you had roof damage the hard way. Trust me, I know. Our call log at Hudco has been incredibly long. So what I would implore you to do is please call or go to the website, the contact form right there at the top of the page on the right at HudcoRoofing.com, fill out the contact form, and schedule a free, no-obligation inspection. Let us come to your house, get on your roof, see if you have damage. If you do, no worries. We will file a comprehensive inspection report. You can submit to your insurance company. We'll work with your insurance adjuster to get your claim approved. You get a new roof, you pay your deductible. If not, no worries. At least you'll have the peace of mind knowing you don't have issues with your roof that the next time a monsoon rolls through here, you're going to end up with water in your house. HudcoRoofing.com. HudcoRoofing.com. Before you call your insurance company, call a licensed roofer to come to your house to do that free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Call us at Hudco Roofing. Call a local company that's Louisiana-born. Hudco's been in Louisiana for 20 years. We use CertainTeed shingles, which are manufactured in Shreveport, because we want to support Louisiana companies, Louisiana products, and hire Louisiana people. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. It is after further review. PGA Championship gets underway on Thursday, and odds are out, and the odds have actually changed a good bit over the past couple of days. Rory McIlroy is the consensus favorite at 11-1. Jon Rahm is at 14-1. Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, 16-1. Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, 18-1. Those are your favorites. William Hill is the largest sports book in the country, and their director of trading is Nick Bogdanovich. And he gave an interview to ESPN, and he said Sam Burns is the biggest liability that they have. Quote, again, this is the director of trading for William Hill. Quote, Sam Burns is a big problem for us. People got some big numbers on him. 125-1, 100-1, then 75-1. He's like in the Spieth range when it comes to liability. He's our second worst result. Sam Burns could crush sportsbooks if he wins the PGA Championship. Of course, won the Valspar in May, finished second this last weekend at the Byron Nelson, and he has seen his odds go from 125-1 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, he was 125-1. Now he's 40-1. Love to see Sammy take a bite out of those sports books. But our friend John Peterson, former LSU golfer, who's really good friends with Sam Burns as well, said sports books can probably rest easy. John was with us yesterday on AFR. Said he doesn't think this course this weekend really suits Sam Burns' game.
I don't really like it for Sam too much. I think he's more of a position player, even though he can bomb it. We saw that last week. But, you know, he's such a versatile guy. His golf swing can play anywhere, and his game is going to travel wherever he plays. I just don't think of the majors this year, this is the one that really suits him the least of all of them, in my opinion.
We will start to get a look at Sam Burns in the PGA Championship tomorrow as we get underway in the golf major. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll talk some SEC baseball with LSU and SEC legend Todd Walker. That's next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. Have your preseason AC tune-up done right now. Just $97. Now, if you're a member of their membership club, which I am, your seasonal maintenance is complimentary. So last week, Josh came out to my house, did the preseason AC tune-up, and I paid nothing because it's complimentary as part of their membership club, which I would absolutely recommend anybody get. It gets you front-of-the-line service. It gets you your complimentary seasonal maintenance. It gets you membership pricing on any repairs you need. It's like $25 a month. I could not recommend it more highly. Anyway, even if you're not a member, $97 for the preseason AC tune-up. Get your AC running at max efficiency for the coming warm weather. Call today to schedule. 752-0001. Call now to schedule. 752-0001.
The 2021 Smoke 'em If You Got 'em fundraiser, presented by Mockler Beverage. Sunday, May 23rd at 4 p.m. at Ben 77 in Perkins Row. Benefiting the Baton Rouge Law Enforcement and Criminal Justice Foundation. With live music, great food, and an amazing atmosphere. Raise money to support local law enforcement and first responders. Tickets are $100. Get yours at the door or Smoke'emBR.com. That's Smoke'emBR.com.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford wants to put you in a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 for just $29,990. And new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar.
Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-11.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Flucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Flucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Baseball Tigers wheels up today to College Station. Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, as will be for the entire SEC here on this final weekend of conference play. Next weekend, of course, will be, or next week, I should say, will be the start of the SEC tournament. So tomorrow, 6 o'clock, LSU, Texas A&M from Olsen Field at Bluebell Park there in Bryan College Station. Todd Walker of the SEC Network, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes. Todd, thanks for the time as always, man. How are you?
I'm great. What's happening, Matt?
Another day, man. If I had told you a month ago when LSU at the halfway point of the league play was at 4-11, if I had told you they'd be in this position going into the final weekend, you would have thought what?
Well, what position are they in?
Well,
they're
I would
not
say
a whole lot better.
I would say
I thought
a position, Todd, if they win this weekend, they're in the tournament. That seems to be the consensus among Baseball America and D1 Baseball and all these
yeah,
sites.
they'll be in the, if they win 2 out of 3, I think they will be in the national tournament. They were already going to be in the SEC tournament. It's weird to think that they wouldn't make that. But there was a time at 4-11, like you just mentioned, where people started wondering if they'd even make it to Hoover,
Yeah.
But they've got their backs against the wall, and they've had their backs against the wall. They won 2 out of 3 the last 2 weekends, which is impressive because they had to. And now they've got to do it again. I think what's more interesting is who gets into Hoover between Auburn, Missouri, and A&M. Like, A&M has to win these 2 or 3, or they don't get in.
So, obviously, tons of urgency for both. Let's talk a little bit about this weekend. For those who haven't seen the Aggies, it's obviously been a struggle there for Rob Childress and the crew. Give us a little thumbnail, if you would, from what you've seen from A&M this year.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got Will Frizzell. That's their hitter. If you can hold him back, you're going to win the series. Dustin Sines is a left-hander. I'm not even sure if he's healthy or not, but he's been one of their best pitchers, I think. But there's not a whole lot on the stats that'll jump out at you. And they've had a rough year. I mean, there's just not. I mean, where Missouri beat them 2 out of 3 in A&M or in College Station earlier in the year. Auburn beat them 2 out of 3. So that tells you all you need to know, I think.
Todd, if this is a weekend that doesn't go LSU's way, what do you think would have to unfold for A&M to win this weekend?
Well, they're going to have to pitch well. This Dustin Sines guy can get some swing and misses. He goes in. He's a left-hand pitcher. He goes into righties with the fastball and into righties with the slider, so away from lefties with both pitches. I think they're going to have to hit, but again, when you go into series, you circle guys that aren't going to beat you. If they can circle Will Frizzell and keep him out of offensive positions, meaning guys on base in front of him, then they're gonna win. I hate to use the word easily, but they're going to be able to win 2 out of 3 or sweep the series if they can keep with Will Frizzell down. But overall, I think more than that, LSU has to play well. Landon Marceau is going to give you a good start. What I always think about is, how can we get Landon Marceau to pitch in the single elimination portion of the SEC tournament? It starts on Thursday, tomorrow. So you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You got 4 days rest if he doesn't blow out 100 pitches tomorrow night. You know what I mean? So even if you start him, I would look at maybe, getting 40 pitches and get him out of there somehow so he could pitch a single elimination. I think if they get to 13 conference wins, that LSU's in the national tournament. But it sure would help to win that single elimination on Tuesday and get into the double elimination part of the tournament.
Todd, do you think that's something that Paul Mainieri and Alan Dunn would consider with Landon?
I don't know. That nobody ever does it. They always throw their number 4, 5, or 6 guy on that opening day. And I don't know, man. I mean, if they get to 13 wins, meaning they win 2 out of 3 this weekend, and lose that first game of the SEC tournament, they're walking a thin line. Now, I still think they get all in, but they're walking a real thin line. And so I would find a way to throw my ace on that Tuesday, whatever it may be, however you do it.
So a lot of people have asked this week, Todd, like if I think LSU can sweep Texas A&M, and my answer has been no, because they haven't swept anybody. It's just I think this is an LSU baseball team that hasn't shown it can be consistent enough over a 3-game series to sweep a team. Do you think at this point, week 10 of conference play, that's something that LSU might be able to do going on the road to College Station?
Yeah, because I look at the starting pitching, and I've said for weeks now that the key to LSU's success was going to be that third starter. And as we've all seen, they've kind of struggled with that guy. They started Blake Money at one point. Then they've tried some other guys. Nothing's really worked. I have always liked Mikael Hilliard. I don't know what happened. They liked him, too, because I think it was his freshman year, 3 years ago, where he was starting on the weekend, for LSU. And then all of a sudden, a little bit of arm injury, something happened, something else. He's in the bullpen, jumping around, and just never has been the same, whoever's fault that might be. But I've always liked Mikael Hilliard. So now I think you talk about sweep, you got to have that third guy, having won the first 2 games. I think they're in as good of a position as anybody because Mikael threw well last weekend. So I don't see any reason why they can't.
Todd Walker is our guest. Todd, I want you to elaborate a little bit, if you would, as a hitter, what it's like facing a guy like Mikael who doesn't have an overpowering fastball, but when the breaking ball, when he's locating it, it's definitely a plus pitch. What's it like as a hitter facing Mikael?
Yeah, I think you realize that he probably can't land it for a strike one. So I'm looking for that fastball for strike one, and won't let him have it. I'm not going to let him throw a fastball for strike one. If he gets to strike one, now he can use that curveball, and you've got to respect it. And certainly with 2 strikes, you got to swing at it. And there's not a whole lot of contact point on that big breaker. So I would want to get to that point. So if I'm a hitter and I'm facing Mikael Hilliard, I'm going early trying to get that fastball because it's fairly straight. That's the reason he hasn't been dominant. And like you said, it's not 95 miles an hour. Yeah. So he's got to really locate that fastball, get ahead of hitters so he can use that curveball. But again, if I'm a hitter facing him, I'm not letting him get to it.
Todd, do you like the way that the LSU lineup has sort of come together with Paul Mainieri notoriously tinkers, but it seems as though the changes have been that he's landed on Drew Bianco, obviously at second base, and now giving them some production in the bottom of the order. And he's actually tinkered with the DH a little. We might see Zach Arnold or Mitchell Sanford in there in place of Cade Beloso.
Yeah, I mean, they've given Beloso a lot of time to try to break out, and I still like Beloso. He's got more walks and strikeouts. That's kind of where my eyes go first on the stat sheet in terms of who can handle the bat. So for him, it's just kind of been a bad luck year where he's kind of hitting some balls at people, but he still gives you quality at bats. So I still would keep Cade Beloso in there. Arnold and Cranford at times have had some small little successes, and apparently, remember they didn't use Bianco at all until they were going into that Ole Miss series against his dad, right. And then he put him in there, I think, to give a little emotion to the lineup and maybe some spark. Didn't really happen, but they did win 2 out of 3 and should have swept, of course. But I think Bianco can handle a bat too. So 1 through 4, they can hurt you, right? I mean, those guys are mainstays, and they can hurt you. After that, you can flip a coin. I think, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I think they've got some talent. Bianco can swing it. Cranford can swing it. Arnold can swing it. But they're not going to hit 350. So you got 4 guys up top, and then the rest is kind of pieced together. Milazzo, I think, still is one of the best defenders in the country. So you got to stick him in there, and I think he would tell you that if he had more at bats strung together, he could do better. So I'm not overly concerned with the offense. Everybody was before the season started because they were so bad last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're good. They're good offensively, and they got 2 frontline starters. That's why, back to your original question about where we projected this team to be, I thought they had a chance because for those reasons. And you've got a pseudo closer, not one of the best, not Kevin Kopps from Arkansas,
right.
And Devin Fontenot that can get it done, at times. And so they had a chance to kind of climb out of the cellar, and they've kind of done it. But they got some of the pieces in place, what I'm saying.
Hey, Todd, before you go, when you look at this SEC slate for the final weekend, we're obviously all very interested in what happens with LSU, and as you mentioned, A&M's trying to get into the SEC tournament, so it's do or die for them. What else jumps off at the schedule this weekend that are series that you're really interested in for one reason or another?
Well, and it's funny because you would initially be interested in what Arkansas is going to do. They won every series all year long. What Vanderbilt's going to do. I still thought Vanderbilt was the number 1 team in the country, but they've kind of slipped a little bit. But I'm interested in the bottom feeders, Missouri, Auburn. Whoever wins that series gets into the SEC tournament. Whoever wins the LSU A&M series, the other team, their season's over, basically. Like if LSU walks out of that series with only 20 wins, I don't think they get in the national tournament.
I agree.
And if A&M walks out losing 2 or 3, they won't even make it to Hoover. So there's some teams on the line. I'm not overly concerned with the top feeders because they're in and they're, like Fayetteville's going to host a super regional, Nashville's going to host a super regional, Starkville's going to host a super regional. So that's all kind of put in place. So now it's just which one of those teams is going to win the SEC tournament, even though they don't need it. So I like looking at who's going to do or die between Auburn, Missouri, A&M, and LSU.
What about South Carolina? Seems like they're playing at home for an opportunity to host one of the 16 regional sites. They're hosting Tennessee this weekend. Who do you like there?
Yeah, I like Tennessee, but South Carolina's been a little weird. Georgia's been a little weird. But I don't think South Carolina will host a super, and I think they will host a regional, but unless they get swept. Okay. I think they need to win 2 out of 3. You're probably right about that to host a regional in Columbia. But they seem to somehow piece it together. Like they lost 2 in Nashville, 1 game 3. Mississippi State came in there. They lost the first 2 games, won the Sunday game. South Carolina did. So they seem to win the one that they need to just keep their head above water. I think this weekend, if they win 2 or 3, they're going to host a regional. But I don't think there's any scenario in which they host a super. So, it's been fun for me to watch Tennessee because they haven't been significant for so long. And now all of a sudden they have 2 massive series in Knoxville against Vanderbilt and against who they have, Arkansas. Mm-hmm. And they're going to host a regional and most likely a super in Knoxville for the first time in forever, if ever. And so I think Tennessee's an interesting team, no matter who they're playing.
He is Todd Walker. Are you going to be in Hoover next week?
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
We'll actually be down there for Skip's, the Sunday deal, Skip
Right.
Bertman's birthday party at LeBeur's, and then Monday morning take off for Hoover. Be there all week.
Well, man, I'll be there Sunday night at LeBeur's as well, man. I'll look for you there. In the meantime, safe travels. We appreciate a couple of minutes as always.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
All right, man. That's Todd Walker, former Tiger great, of course, now does awesome work with the SEC Network. That's interesting. Look, there's some heavy hitters this weekend. You got number 1 Arkansas against number 9 Florida. I mean, as I mentioned, you've got the really significant weekend for South Carolina at home against Tennessee. But Todd said, look, he's more interested in the bottom feeders, do or die. I mean, the win or your season's over type scenarios. And LSU certainly needs to win this weekend. If they only get 1 game in College Station, if you lose this series to a bad Texas A&M team, your regional hopes are over. So you got to go win this series in College Station. All right, after further review, we'll knock out a quick break, wrap up hour number 2. Muso will have Tigers and the Pros. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
I have so many people asking me every day now. I always love this because I can always tell when a message is starting to take hold. Hey, Matt, you're talking about the people that can take care of your boring backyard. Pinnacle Exterior Construction. Check them out online, pecbuilt.com. pecbuilt.com is in Pinnacle Exterior Construction. You can see pictures of their work, get more info, how you can contact them to come out and do that consultation with you. That's free. Shane Danton, their landscape architect, they'll come out, they'll meet with you. You can kind of share your ideas. They'll give you some ideas that they're thinking. I just went through this whole process. if you want a custom pool, you want an outdoor kitchen, maybe you just need a fence, keep a pet in, or, unwanted neighbors out. Decks, bulkheads, they do it all at Pinnacle Exterior Construction. Financing is available as well, so they have affordable options for anyone. Pinnacle Exterior Construction, PECbuilt.com.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
What if you could truly energize your body and mind from the most fundamental level, your cells? Cellivate is a revolutionary health-aware approach to energy, focus, and mood enhancement, packing everything you need to optimize your mind and body from the inside out. The unique formula combines top-notch cellular energizers, nootropics, herbal extracts, and powerful antioxidants, all in one sugar-free 12-ounce can. Elevate your cells. Cellivate.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Wrapping up hour number 2, I went to Houston this weekend, brought my Fresh Air Mobile. I told you I'll never travel again without it. Kills dozens of pathogens, including the virus that causes COVID-19. It is portable, office, hotel, vehicle, bedroom. It's the Fresh Air Mobile. It's at mycleanliving.net. mycleanliving.net. Muso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
Will Harris and the Washington Nationals is where we begin. Tough night on the bump for Harris. First out of the bullpen for the Nats, the game tied at 3 in the 6th inning versus the Cubs. Only made it through 2/3 of an inning. 2 hits, a single, and a homer. So 2 runs, both earned. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, 22 pitches, 12 strikes. Harris suffers his first loss of the season.
Was that his first appearance of the season?
It was not his first appearance. I believe it was his second or third.
And I'm going to look it up right now.
But I know it wasn't
he had been injured.
He had been hurt.
He has made 6 appearances.
6 appearances.
Right,
DJ LeMahieu.
Kelly Ha!
Nope. Only 1 hit last night for DJ at the top of the Yankees order, but it was very productive. 2-out RBI double to break a 3-3 tie in the top of the 4th. LeMahieu would add a sac fly in the 6th, giving him 3 RBI on the night.
Who's he play for?
The New York Yankees.
Oh, yeah. What was the final of that game, by the way?
They won 7-4.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They did. I just wanted you to say that.
They beat the Rangers.
I just wanted you to say
after the Rangers beat Garrett Cole in game 1 of that series.
But Garrett Cole was really good in that game.
He was, but he gave up 5 earned runs.
Whatever your face.
One more bit of baseball news. Alex Lang optioned down to AAA Toledo, who play for the Mud Hens. Detroit clearing some space there. In 15 games for the big club so far this year, mixed results for Lang. 0-1, and ERA of 7.43. Did have some really nice outings, though, as well. 13 in the 3rd innings. He walked 4 and struck out 16.
He'll be back.
He'll be back.
He got a taste. You said he struck out 16, walked 4?
Yeah, and that
I'll
was
take a 4-to-1 ratio. Are you kidding me?
And 13 in the 3rd inning. So
I mean,
that's a nice sample size.
I mean, so when they hit it, they usually had 6 bats.
His opponent's batting average was 322.
Yeah,
That's
many.
strong.
Not many actually hit it, but when they did hit it,
it fell.
It usually went pretty well for him. Yeah.
But he'll be back.
He'll be back.
He'll be back.
He got his taste.
He did. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you just need to get your feet wet, and then you're ready to go.
Langa.
There you go.
Next is Papierski.
Okay.
Let's call him a shot.
Okay.
Papierski will get us. I don't know a ton about the Cardinals organization. I want to say Kramer is going to what?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Papierski. I was like, well, perhaps with the Astros,
No,
but okay.
Because I want to say Kramer is going to get a shot too. But Pap's going to get his call up this year. He's going to get a call up, and maybe it's an up down thing where you're the bullpen catcher and then you're the guy AAA who's always that like he's going to get his taste this year. Pap's going to get a call this year.
I think Cam Sanders is going to get a call this year.
That's
I really
do.
do.
I hope he's listening right now.
I think Cam's going to get a call.
I hope the Sandy Man's listening right now. I hope so. He texted me last week. Scott.
Yeah.
It was so Scott Sanders, who's Cam's dad. I think many of you know that. Anyway, he texted me Cam's line from one of the games Cam pitched in, and I was like, I know. We had it in Tigers in the Pros yesterday, man. We're following him. Keeping tabs.
He's having.
I said I gave you a shout out. I was actually hoping you were going to call in or text or something. He's like, sorry, I missed it.
Cam's having a really, really good year.
Okay.
He's moving up in that organization on the prospect list. Finally, PGA Championship starts tomorrow. Sam Burns will go off at 11:52 a.m. Central Time. He's in a pair with Abraham Answer and Max Homa. Kiowa Island, the Ocean course, playing almost 8,000 yards, and it will be very windy.
That's long. What did you think of what John Peterson had to say about Sam not loving this course for Sam Burns? They're in South Carolina, by the way.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I also really just have no take on who's going to win because that course is a toss-up just because of the wind.
Otter will be here at the end of this at the end of the show today, and he will give us his PGA Championship bets, and then also I know tonight on the show he'll have a bunch of guests rolling through all. And some of his guys, like Matt Humans from VSiN, has been incredible with golf and all that sort. So anyway, if you're looking to wager on the PGA, listen up to Ott tonight because I'm sure he'll have some good advice for you. He and his cronies, his degenerates. Not that there's any judgment here. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson and Bluebonnet. Dine in or carry out. Eat wings, drink beer, watch sports on TV. Pluckers, you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. All right, quick break. Sports Center, get you caught up on national headlines. Hour 3 is coming up next.
AFR.
Change your life today. It's not often that we can say that, but what if you could save $400 a month on your mortgage? What if, on top of saving $400 a month on your mortgage, you could also shorten the life of your mortgage by 5 years? You're finished paying off your mortgage 5 years sooner than you thought. What if you could skip a mortgage payment or two. Basically, keep that money in your pocket for 2 months. Would that change your life financially? It did for me. I mean, when Eric and I bought our home, our interest rate was a 3.85. GMFS Mortgage financed us then in 2016. Because the Fed has lowered interest rates, GMFS Mortgage refinanced our mortgage a couple of months ago, got us all the way down in the twos. It's incredible. Take advantage of this opportunity. GMFSmortgage.com. Home buy, refi, construction loans. GMFSmortgage.com.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford wants to put you in a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 for just $29,990. And new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At front to back, they got not one, but two NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to front to back boat service.
Yo, Jacob Hester here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, the place that can be at your convenience during those inconvenient times. I know they've been that for me. I've got 4 boys, right? So sometimes stitches happen, and they have 6 convenient locations, one close to you to be able to be convenient for you. Remember, you can also check in online. PatientPlusUC.com is the website. That way you skip the line as well. Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, get in and get better.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
No matter what type of exercise you like to do, let Spectrum Fitness be a part of your exercise routine. Our low monthly rates and variety of choices will keep you moving toward your fitness goals. Come by and check us out today. Spectrum Fitness and Medical Wellness. Live life fit.
Hand Injury Lawyers. Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate facts.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. We're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. And oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yeah.
It's hump day.
Take that, random guy who hates hump day.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
You know who doesn't hate hump day? Jeff Hodges, who texted, to hell with that dude. We love the hump day thing. You should do it extra for him.
It's hump day.
You know who else doesn't hate the hump day?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Brady T. Holsey, who texted, hump day for life.
Hump day.
You know who else loves hump day?
It's hump day.
My son. That's all I really care about.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
David Benoit.
Hump day.
Said he'd rather have fire ants on his genitals than listen to hump day.
It's hump day.
I say we put it to the test, Muse. What do you think?
Yeah, really. David Benoit.
Hey, David Benoit. Prove it, clown.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
You and all your buddies at the welding shop. Prove it, clown. How about it? Honey on your balls on a fire ant pile.
It's hump day.
Prove it. Tough guy.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Laying down the gauntlet for you, David Benoit.
Hump day.
And all your buddies at the welding shop.
It's hump day.
I'm betting you're all cowards.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
What do you think, Moose?
Definitely cowards.
All talk.
Hump day.
What's the matter, Colonel Sanders?
It's
Chicken?
hump day.
That's what I thought.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
From Colonel Sanders to Scott Sanders. The Sandy Man was, in fact, listening when Muso shouted out Cam Sanders, and the former big leaguer and father of the former LSU Tiger gave us a shout. Sandy Man, what's up? How are you?
What's up, Matthew? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing awesome today, man. What did you think about Muso's prediction there? Is Cam getting the call up?
Man, I tell you, I hope and pray that he keeps doing what he's doing, and I know he's working hard, and things are starting to come together for him. But I definitely hope Muso's right, and a lot of people are saying that. I hear from a lot of good things from people inside the organization, just outside of baseball, seeing him. So things are just he's maturing, and things are coming together, and it's all happening at the right time.
Good. I mean, what was that like for you when you got a call up? You got your first call up.
Yeah, I was in Tacoma, Washington, and I was supposed to be pitching. I want to say it was like a Thursday night. The general manager, Randy Smith, was actually the cross-checker who signed me. I was scout director, who signed me coming out of Nicholls State. So he had moved up to the GM spot, and this was back in the day when you didn't have cell phones. So I was laying in bed, just waiting to go to the park around 11 o'clock to pitch that night. My hotel phone rings, like answer, like, hello, thinking it's the maid calling me, telling me I need to get out so she can clean the room or something. he's like, hey, Sam, man, just like you're not pitching tonight. And right away I got defensive, like, what do you mean? What do you mean? he said, because you're going to be pitching tomorrow night, the back end of a doubleheader against the Colorado Rockies in San Diego. And man, I think I jumped up and hit my head on the ceiling, to be honest. You know what I mean? The next thing I did, I ran down, got a USA Today from the front desk, and started looking at the Rockies lineup, and packed my bags and got on the plane and headed down to San Diego and pitched the next night. Was fortunate enough to win my debut. So and honestly, it was amazing. But one day, hopefully, you know, Cam's lucky enough to get that same feeling. I promise you, my feelings will probably be 100 times more than when I got that call. Just because, you know, Coach, I coached Cam. I started working with Cam when he was probably 3 years old. You know, I mean, he coached him pretty much his whole career. And you know, to see all the hard work and time and effort he's put in would be great. You know, glad to see him get a shot.
Yeah, man. As a dad, I know that's just got to be an incredible feeling just watching. So what is going so well for him this year?
Well, I tell you, number one, this the best thing that happened to him this off season. You know, with the pandemic, you know, it did stink that they didn't get to play last year. But this year, he spent most of his off season in Phoenix this off season and worked out, you know, at a place kind of like Traction. You know what I mean, where they're grinding, they're working, they're lifting, but he's with other pro ball players. You know, before he was here, you know, he worked out at LSU, he'd work out with some buddies in New Orleans, and you know that's good. But when you get around the other pro ball players, it's just a different level that you push yourself to. And, you know, so he worked hard, and, you know, lately his velocity has been, I mean, he's been 95, 98 most of the time. You know, he'll go down to 92, 93, but, and that's what, and you guys know the movement he has on his fastball. So he's throwing a fastball at 96, you know, probably average with big time sink, and he's commanding his changeup. You know, he doesn't know it yet, but his changeup's probably his best off-speed pitch, and we all know how good his curveball is when it's on, and he's working on the slide. He's got a nice 4-pitch mix, and honestly, he's enjoying the game. You know, he's got some swag to him. You know, sometimes I think it's a little bit too much, but that's who he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's who he is. You know, it really came out of LSU when he went to the conference champions, you know, the SEC championships, and he was out there banging his chest. You know, and you know, it's just he's got that in him, but it's in a good way where it doesn't look like he's disrespecting the game. You know, because you know I've talked to people and they tell me it's like, Scott, he's our most favorite Cubs minor leaguer to watch because you can tell that he just enjoys playing a game of baseball, and even the fans love to watch him, you know, because it's just he's not out there robotically, you know what I mean? He's got a little swag to him, and he has fun, you know, and his teammates love him as well.
That's awesome, man. Glad to hear all that's going so well, man. Are you getting a chance to watch the Tigers at all?
I have been. Yeah, I don't get to watch them as much, but I usually try to catch them. I keep up with all the box scores, to be honest, and I usually watch, you know, as many games as I can. When they're on, you know, I watch it on my app on my phone a lot. But I've been watching them, and you know, it's been an up and down year. You know, losing Jaden Hill, you know, at the end of the day that's just a big thorn in your side because literally, I mean, Landry, you know, it's like, you know, he's really was looking at to be the H, you know what I mean? And you know, they've been trying to just plug holes ever since, but. You know, hopefully they go out this weekend and hopefully take 2 out of 3 and get a chance to get to Hoover and pull some LSU magic like they always do.
I'd love to see it, man. Hey, let me ask you, because, I mean, while I got you here, you know, McHale played with Cam. So what he's kind of had a resurgence here in the last 3 weeks. I mean, what do you see when you look at McHale when he's going good?
So McHale and Cameron are very, very tight, you know, and honestly, I got to know McHale pretty well, you know, when Cam was at the McHale's freshman year, you know, and as a freshman, I looked at this kid. He reminded me of Tom Gordon, you know, back in the day. Not very tall, but a curveball that just it doesn't come around very often, you know. And at that time, he was throwing 88, touching 90, you know, and then he had the shoulder injury, and he was not right, you know. Cause I would always check on with Cam and say, Cam, like that. It's still not right. I mean, he really fought it. Believe it or not, a shoulder injury is way harder to come back from an elbow injury because it just always is, you know. And you know, but his stuff is always good because he really locates his fastball. It doesn't have a ton of movement, but he really locates it well. And if he gets ahead in the count, and you have to think, that curveball might be coming. It doesn't know how hard his fastball is because it's going to get by you because you have to respect that curveball. I mean, it is just I'm telling you, it's a once in a decade type of curveball. And but he's always been a confident kid, you know what I mean? And he's always won. That kid is ever since I remember when he was 12 years old. Ever since the kid was 10, 12 years old, he's won and won and won and just goes out and throws that curveball and beats people because you cannot hit it. You know what I mean? Unless he hangs it. So if he may hang one a game, but if he don't hang more than one a game, you're not gonna get many runs off him. But I'm really happy that he's back. You know, I know he's probably still not 100%, and he's probably not where I thought he would be. You know, year 4 into his college career, because I really thought he'd be throwing 92, 93 by now. You know, just by getting stronger and everything. But hopefully he can just keep getting better and getting stronger and you know and keep in hope. I mean, I think he's a big key this weekend. I mean, you know, I think if he can win on Sunday, I think they'll definitely get 2 out of 3.
Hey, man, we're pulling for Cam. Appreciate you for listening, as always. When he gets his call up, we're going to visit again, all right?
That's right, brother. That's right. You have a great day.
Looking forward to it, Scott. Thanks, man.
Yep.
See ya. That's Scott Sanders. Told you he'd be listening, man. Actually, I didn't know he'd be listening in that moment. But he listens. Usually it's like rabbit ears. When he hears us mention him or Kay, he's like, hey, man, he just called in the break. So come on, man. Love it. Appreciate Scott Sanders for dialing us up. And certainly good luck to Cam, who admittedly I'm not plugged into the Chicago Cubs minor league system. But you heard it right there. And Musso talks about it in Tigers and the Pros, so we kind of get the updates on how he's doing. So that'd be awesome, man. It'd be great to see Cam get a call-up this year. And it's always great to see those former Tigers get their call-ups, man. Just continuing to add to that legacy of Tigers in the pros. All right, it is After Further Review. Glad you're with us. I'd intended in this segment to talk about something Texas A&M athletic director Ross Bjork said on a sort of a town hall that he did on Facebook today. And it's about the future of the college football playoff. So let me knock out a break. We'll come back. I do want to get into that a little bit. And we are going to delve into the regional projections, which have been updated from D1 Baseball and Baseball America after last night's game. So I want to get into that to kind of let you know, to set the stage, where LSU is exactly going into this weekend against Texas A&M. Glad you're with us. Hang on. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you're looking for dinner plans, got 2 great options for you. Of course, Ichiban. Essen near Perkins. Voted by you the best sushi and best hibachi in the Best of 225 awards. Try a Moscona roll or try their award-winning hibachi. It's a ton of fun. If you want to just belly up to the bar, have a meal, you want to eat at the sushi bar as the chefs are making the sushi rolls, you can do that. Hibachi's a ton of fun as well. Great way to entertain a client or a date. Ichiban, always a winner. And, of course, from our friends at Ichiban, their latest concept is Bo-Ru Ramen in Electric Depot on Government Street. Don't think about the 50-cent bag of ramen that you used to eat in college. This is an authentic Japanese dining experience. Right there in Electric Depot on Government Street. Indoor, outdoor, all-weather dining. And pet-friendly if you eat outdoors as well. It's Ichiban and Bo-Ru from our friends at Ichiban. Try Bo-Ru in Electric Depot on Government Street.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with a certified pre-owned vehicle.
Have you been arrested for DUI or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
Vizzy, the first hard seltzer with antioxidant vitamin C. It just hits different. Vizzy. Step up your seltzer game.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Oh, hey, what's
What's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
Sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans. That's why we're highlighting the fans that do the most. 104.5 ESPN.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Flecker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Flecker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Texas A&M Athletic Director Ross Bjork did every month does an Aggie town hall on Facebook. And today, I mean, I normally wouldn't care. I mean, some of the things that he talked about, though, might be relatively interesting. A&M is planning on 100% capacity at Kyle Field. That shouldn't surprise anyone. Texas has been pretty more progressive in opening up. Talked about some other stuff with revenue distribution and whatnot. But of great interest to me anyway, and I think of most people in and around college football, was when Ross Bjork was talking about the college football playoff, in particular, expansion to the college football playoff. And there's a word that he used in his response that stuck out to me. Let's see if you hear it as well.
It's inevitable that it's going to happen. It's just a matter of how it's formatted and when does it take place. Because we know we have an existing contract that runs through the 25-26 cycle, the 25 season, the games of 2026, the bowl games, the playoff games. So I think it's going to does it happen early? I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that have to be analyzed before that happens. But to me, you've either got to go 8 or 12. 16, I think, is too big. It's too long. Doing 6, I don't know if that makes sense. The cool thing about where we are is we're talking about it. So that means 4 has actually worked because there's a debate and there's interest, if you will. So I think it's in that 8 to 12 range.
Inevitable. Certain to happen. Unavoidable. When the athletic director at a place like Texas A&M uses that term so boldly and confidently, it is your answer. If anyone is wondering whether or not they'll expand, let that be your answer. It's just filling in all the details at that point. Is it after the 26 cycle, the 25 season? Is it before that current contract expires? Do they rework it? How many teams, etc.? But expansion is inevitable. It's one thing for me to say it or any other talking head. It's another for someone actually on the inside, one of the actual decision makers, to say it, which Ross Bjork did. Now, in the second part of that answer is when he kind of talked more about, do you go, what numbers do you go? Now, I do disagree with him when he said 16 is too big. But anyway, here's what he also talked about with the auto bids and the expanded playoff, et cetera.
Who would get an automatic bid? So is that you've got the 5 autonomy Power 5 conferences, and right now it's the group of 5 kind of have an access point together. Well, that's 6. That's 6 right there, right? So is that your automatic bids right there? And then if you're at 8, then you only have 2 at large. But if you're at 12, then you have 6 at large. 6 automatic, 6 at-large. So who it would be, to me, you start with the Power 5 and you start with that one group of 5 because that's the format we have now. And then 8 gives you 2 at-large, 12 gives you the 6 at-large. So to me, it's in that 8 to 12 range.
Certainly seems like a guy who's given it a lot of thought. When he's gone that deep into the 6, the 8, the 12, how it all works out. Now, I'll say again, 16 is not too big. And this is by definition an evergreen title, a topic. By an evergreen, it means it's something you talk about any day, any time. But it's worth mentioning now because Ross Bjork brought it up today. He called playoff expansion inevitable, and then he started talking more so about how it would look. And the reason that I'm going to walk that path today is because these are the types of conversations that need to be had where you start planting stakes in the ground. And I will say 16 is not too many. What we have to fight against collectively, if you feel the same way, is this idea that you have to be pigeonholed into this antiquated way of thinking about college football where we're just going to give automatic bids because you're in this league. But no. The benefit of 16, and you may be sitting there today saying, 16's too many. There's no way the 16th team deserves to be in. But look at what's happening with the NBA. Look at what the play-in tournament did for interest in the NBA regular season to the very last day. Games that otherwise would have been written off and nobody cared about actually had an impact because teams still had something to play for. The same would be true in college football. The whole idea that you water down college football is asinine. If anything, what it does is it means, hey, you actually have the right to get better as the season goes along. What a novel damn concept. You mean a team might actually get better from week 1 to week 12? Huh. Yeah. That happened in 2001 LSU. It's the example I give all the time. Now, I don't know that anybody was going to beat Miami that year, but you think anybody wanted any part of that LSU team by the end of the season? They had 3 losses. But by the time December rolled around, they beat the number 2 team in the country in the SEC championship game. They were dangerous. That wouldn't have been fun. It would have been a hell of a lot of fun. If you had 16 this past year, how about number 1 Alabama against number 16 BYU? Would anybody have cared to have seen that? Anybody? You know, the BYU team was Zach Wilson at quarterback who scored a bajillion points. And everybody, you wouldn't have cared to have seen how that might have played out? Number 2 Clemson against number 15 Iowa. Ohio State Northwestern, which we got to see in the Big Ten championship game, and look how competitive that was for 3 quarters. Notre Dame, North Carolina. You wouldn't have wanted to see Texas A&M host Coastal Carolina. You wouldn't have been interested to see how that might have played out. The point is, you would get amazing matchups. You could work in on-campus sites. You've just got to be, with the powers that be in college football have to be willing to open their minds to the possibilities of what this could be. And collectively, fans of this sport have got to be willing to dissolve the lifetime of acceptance of this is how it is, because every other sport has done it another way forever and done it successfully. And college football has been married to this antiquated way of thinking, and they have brainwashed you into thinking it's the most meaningful regular season when actually it's the opposite. The regular season is irrelevant. If you can win every single game you play and not even have a chance to play for a championship, why are you playing games? College football is the only sport in the world in the history of mankind where you can win every single game you play and not even have a chance to win a championship. So yes, college football expansion, I agree with Ross Bjork. It is an inevitability. It's going to happen, and I look forward to it happening. And when it happens, it doesn't need to be 6, doesn't need to be 8, doesn't need to be 12, it needs to be 16. All right, tap further review. Brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Bumper-to-bumper auto service. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. Check engine light came on the dash? Take it to Shaw Bills. Got a flat tire? Take it to Shaw Bills. Need new tires? Go get them at Shaw Bills. Squeaky brakes? Shaw Bills. They can even change your windshield wipers. Oil change, Shaw Bills. Bumper-to-bumper auto service, name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they're hiring. So, need a place to work? Looking for a new challenge? Shaw Bills is looking for you. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, y'all. Man, I still got a ton to get to. All right, let me break. When we come back, I want to delve into regional projections. Also, Paul Maneri met with the media today before LSU took off for College Station. Talked about the disappointment of the loss last night, the RPI, all that sort of stuff. Did preview Texas A&M as well as the Tigers are headed to College Station to take on the Aggies, and which could be the final weekend for Rob Childress as the Aggies head coach as well. So fascinating weekend with a lot on the line for both LSU and Texas A&M. Both Baseball America and D1 Baseball have updated their regional projections. Spoiler, both have LSU in the field, even after last night's loss. So I'll get to that when we come back. We'll try to answer as many of these questions that you may have as LSU goes into the weekend against Texas A&M. What's on the line? We'll get to all that when we come back. It is after further review.
AFR.
The Baton Rouge General Hospital is expanding healthcare in Baton Rouge. brgeneral.org. That's the website where you can get all the information you need. brgeneral.org. The main campus on Bluebonnet, the Mid-City location right there on Florida, where, of course, during COVID, they reopened their emergency room. The Ascension Neighborhood Hospital with an emergency room, world-class emergency care, has never been closer in Ascension Parish than it is now due to the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital. Express care locations around the Baton Rouge area as well, so world-class care is available to you quickly anywhere in the greater Baton Rouge area. brgeneral.org. Of course, cancer services, elective procedures, emergency care. You can even deliver your baby at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, expanded healthcare for the Baton Rouge area. Learn more online at brgeneral.org.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA, $2,000 can get you into a new Camry for $299 per month. That's $299 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Ochsner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Ochsner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Ochsner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
$29,990 for a new 2021 Ford F-150. Bayou Ford wants to put you in a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 for just $29,990. And new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
It was just one of those bad games. We haven't had a game like that in a long time this season, and certainly we haven't had one in the middle of the week all year. And obviously it was disappointing, the last midweek game of the year, the last home game of the year, to have a game like that. But give credit to Northwestern State. They played much more inspired than we did tonight, and they deserve to win.
All right, LSU loses the final midweek game of the year, so they finished the midweeks 12-1 on the season. It's a bummer because, of course, you'd love to have seen them win, but it is largely inconsequential what happened last night. After the game, LSU, their RPI, even after the loss last night, still in rock-solid shape. They dropped from 18 to 22, but still, RPI at 22 is solid. LSU number 2 in the country in strength of schedule. Their road record, 8-6, something Teddy Cahill mentioned yesterday on the show from Baseball America. Road record matters. The number, of course, is the SEC wins. That's what you've got to focus on more than anything. And LSU's at 11-16, and this weekend they're taking on Texas A&M in College Station, and a chance to add potentially 3 SEC wins to their schedule. So, the latest regional projections for both Baseball America and D1 Baseball are out. And if sorry, I'm just getting all this straight. All right, so if you're keeping tabs on all of it, all right, my apologies. I wanted to pull this up so I could show this to y'all if you're watching. Because what Warren Nolan does is they actually project throughout the remainder of the season. So they do project, what they think will happen with this weekend's games, and we'll get to that here in just a second. But all right, D1 Baseball has LSU as a 3 seed in the Ruston Regional. So D1 Baseball has LSU among its last 5 in. Indiana State, Tulane, Clemson, LSU, Georgia in. The first team they have out, Alabama. We talked about this last week. Alabama was in, LSU was out. The weekend series last week was basically the opportunity to flip those two, to knock Alabama out and for LSU to be in. And so that happened in the D1 baseball field. They got, oddly enough, 10 ACC schools in, 9 SEC schools in. So more ACC schools than SEC schools. But, again, among the first 5 out is Alabama. So see if Bama can find a way to play their way in. But LSU as a 3 seed in Ruston, for me, that's a dream scenario. If you're LSU, if you get to stay in state, that would be a de facto home regional. No disrespect to Louisiana Tech, but LSU fans would go and they would just swallow that regional whole. It would feel like a home regional if LSU was playing in Ruston. So that's the best case scenario. But as Teddy Cahill told us yesterday on the show, if you missed that, go check out that interview on demand at 1045ESPN.com. They're not going to send both LSU and Tulane to Ruston. So one of the in-state schools would likely get sent there. You'd have to, cross your fingers and hope that it would be LSU. D1 Baseball, Baseball America also does have LSU in the field. They have LSU among their last 4 in. So their last 4 in are Clemson, LSU, Indiana State, and Virginia. And first 4 out, they've got Maryland, then Alabama. Again, same thing like we talked about. Last week, those teams were playing for that regional spot. And LSU and Alabama were in opposite positions. LSU took 2 out of 3, and LSU gets in. Despite the fact that people melted over LSU losing on Saturday, you just needed to win the series, which LSU did. And even though Alabama presently has one win more in conference play than LSU does, we saw how this played out. Now, all right. What is interesting, according to Warren Nolan, as they project RPI and wins, etc., whatever metric they use, they do project LSU to win all 3 games in College Station this weekend. They're projecting LSU to be 14-16. If LSU is 14-16, if they sweep Texas A&M, they're absolutely in regionals regardless of what happens in the SEC tournament. I believe, as does most other people we've talked to, if it's Kendall Rogers, if it's Teddy Cahill, or if you read through a lot of the RPIs and the projections, most of the people who are looking at LSU think 2 wins gets it done. Todd Walker mentioned that earlier today when he was on with us. If LSU gets to 13 conference wins, that should be good enough. If you hit 14, you're a cinch, you're a lock. But the general feeling on LSU is, with your RPI somewhere in the 20s, 13 conference wins, that's going to be enough regardless of what may happen in Hoover. Pulmonary, today when he met with the media, did talk about the RPI. And this coming after the loss to Northwestern State. And he thought it might have been a more damaging loss.
I was really concerned, when you lose, first of all, when you lose a home game, it affects you in the RPI more so than losing a road game. And when you lose it to a team whose RPI is not real high, then it affects you as well. So our RPI was 18 going into the game. I thought we might drop into the 30s, to be honest with you. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised that we only dropped 4 spots down to 22. I don't know how that formula works, but we didn't drop out of sight. I guess the big body of work overcomes just one hiccup, I guess at this point in the season. So I don't think we've hurt ourselves in a dramatic way.
The idea that LSU is going to drop into the 30s is patently absurd. Like, mathematically, it just doesn't work. From 18, when you have played 25 quadrant 1 games. I don't mean to. I don't want this to become a giant math equation. I'm not trying to bore you. A lot of people have even asked me via text line, like, what is the RPI? Can you explain it? It's the rating percentage index. It's basically a formula that weights things like strength of schedule, quality of your opponent, home games, road games, that they throw the metric together and it spits out your ranking based on your performance. It is something that's heavily weighted. But strength of schedule is a massive part of this formula. And LSU's played 25 games, basically half of its schedule, against quadrant 1 teams. That's teams with RPI 1 to 50. And then it's 51 to 100, 101 to 150, you get it. So when you've played 25 games against quad 1 teams, 1 game against Northwestern State isn't going to dramatically affect you one way or the other. That was the point. That's why we talk about it. Like, the SEC games are what matter because they're weighted so heavily because you're playing in such a strong league. So, I mean, even like Texas A&M, as bad as they are, like as bad a season as A&M is having, A&M presently in the RPI is at 70. Northwestern State, do you know it offhand, Musso, what Northwestern State is?
Last night it was 172.
Okay, let me check to see where they are today. They are at Northwestern State. They're at 155. So that win was a giant boost for Northwestern State. Northwestern State went up 17 spots because of that win. A road quad one win shot Northwestern State up 17 spots in the RPI, but they're still at 155. LSU lost a home game to a quad 4 team and dropped 4 spots. It just doesn't matter. You've got to win your SEC game. So LSU's got that opportunity this weekend in College Station against Texas A&M, a team that has really struggled mightily all season long. And Texas A&M is playing for its opportunity to get into the SEC tournament. Paul Maneri, and we'll talk much more about this series tomorrow when we're previewing the series as a whole. Can you play number 5, please? This was Paul Maneri on his expectation for this weekend in College Station.
We're going to face a lot of left-handed pitching this weekend. That's what Texas A&M is known for. They got some crafty guys and they got some hard-throwing guys. So it's going to be a grind this weekend. There's no doubt about it. If you look at the history of our games with Texas A&M, it seems like 90% of the games have been decided by one run. So I would expect nothing different than nail-biters this weekend.
A&M is presently 8-19 in the conference. Auburn also 8-19. Missouri 7-20. So very likely Missouri's going to be out, and then either A&M or Auburn will join them. If LSU wins this series against A&M, A&M season likely ends this weekend. So LSU, you win this series, you likely punch your ticket to regional. So latest projections, even after last night's loss for LSU, both D1 Baseball and Baseball America have LSU in the field of 64. Go win 2 games this weekend, and you'll lock it up. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, reliefwindows.com. You can call them at 288-8138, 288-8138, or online again, reliefwindows.com. That's our friends over at Relief Windows. Call Brandon Holly and the gang over at Relief Windows. And remember, energy-efficient replacement windows lower your monthly energy bills, beautify the exterior of your home, increase your home's resale value, lifetime warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage that is transferable. So when you sell your home, that warranty transfers to the next homeowner, and Relief Windows is hiring. So if you're looking for maybe a change, maybe you're leaving a job or heading to a job you don't love, maybe Relief Windows is the call that you need to hear today. Reliefwindows.com, reliefwindows.com, windows, door, siding, reliefwindows.com. Before we break, just want to give a big shout. We'll come back with Jimmy Ott for Otter Locks. Whenever we have Best Person in Sports, I love to shine light on positive stories when they're there. And a big tip of the cap to Charles Barkley. Of course, he's an Alabama native, and he went to Leeds, school in Leeds City in Alabama. And Charles Barkley did a really cool thing for teachers and educators in his hometown. He gave $1,000 a piece to more than 200 employees of that city school system in Alabama. They announced it, Leeds did, on their Facebook page. They wrote, through the years, the Leeds school system has been fortunate to have the support of its biggest fan and most famous graduate, Charles Barkley, class of 1981. Over the past 3 decades, Charles has quietly, without any attention drawn to himself, provided over $3 million in scholarships to Leeds graduates, funds that have helped hundreds of students attend college. Charles has also been a huge supporter of both the boys and girls basketball programs at Leeds High. He's even known to show up occasionally to cheer on the Green Wave. They went on to point out that he donated not only supplies during the COVID-19 pandemic, but also this latest gift of generosity where he's giving $1,000 to each Leeds school employee for going the extra mile during the school year. So it's in all 226 Leeds employees, and he's giving each of them $1,000 as a thank you for what they did during COVID. So Charles Barkley, out of his own pocket, giving more than $250,000 to these employees. So good on you, Sir Charles. Really stand-up thing to do. All right, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back. Otter Locks. We'll find out what we're betting on tonight. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Had a chat today with Adam over at Insurance Network of Louisiana and got our most recent testimonial from So, someone that LSU fans would certainly know well. Lloyd Peaver, an All-American back in 1992, a member of the LSU Sports Hall of Fame, was listening to the show called Insurance Network of Louisiana. Get this. They're saving him more than $3,000 annually, moving his home and auto away from State Farm. All of his coverages were sufficient, so they didn't need to change anything. They just saved him a pile of money. It's actually going to be closer to $4,000 annually. Think about that. Think about if one phone call to let our friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana shop for free to see if they can get you better coverage for less money. Think if one phone call could save you $4,000 a year. You would be pretty excited now, wouldn't you? Now make that phone call. 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with the certified pre-owned vehicle.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Have you been arrested for DUI or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756.
Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, wrapping up our Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. We got one thing left to do. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks. Otter Locks.
So we turn to the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ottfather, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you, man?
Doing good, Matt. Took it on the chin a little bit in the in Major League Baseball. We did hit our under in the Celtics, the NBA game. And I do have to apologize, but The Colucci train came a little late last night, about 6:45. He gave me one. We released it. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they dropped the puck at 7 o'clock, and it hit. He is now a perfect 4-0 in the postseason, and the Colucci man has released his pick early enough for your show tonight.
All right, let's hear it. Colucci!
See ya. But extend it out a little bit. Colucci!
Give me the buzzer.
See?
I love that he plays along.
And he kind of goes, so,
sounds like he's blowing his nose.
There you get a little bit. So, hey, Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, Grant Fuhr, the Edmonton Oilers are back. Minus the $1.75. It's a hefty price in the playoffs, but that's what he gives us. That's what I'm relaying. That's what we have.
All right.
So I love the under tonight in the Lakers Golden State game. The Lakers' second best team point-wise, opposing points. Defensive scoring, number 2 in the league. They're old school. Matt, you know what they led the league and the postseason in last year when they won the title? You know, with all this pace and space, fire up three. And it is a historical season for offense. Highest ever field goal percentage, 53%. Highest ever three-point percentage. And highest ever free throw percentage all this year. But they led the league in 2 things. Big boy basketball, dunks and block shots.
AD.
Slowing it down. They don't want to run with Steph Curry in them tonight. Under, Lakers and Golden State. I've got a couple of hot pitchers in Major League Baseball. Not the biggest name brands when the season started, okay?
All right.
But if you're paying attention to them this year, Means for Baltimore is even against Tampa Bay, and Trevor Rogers for the Marlins is actually plus money tonight in their game at Philadelphia against Zach Eflin. So Yarbrough and Eflin, mediocre numbers this year. Not the case for Means and Rogers. So Marlins, Orioles on the bases. We are sweating. I did put it out on Twitter earlier today. Kevin Gausman, man, 9th season in Major League Baseball, but his numbers are phenomenal. He's gone at least 6 innings in all 7 of his starts so far this year. His ERA is under 2, which is outstanding. His WHIP is under 1, which is outstanding. And man, he's mixing up those 3 pitches. With his fastball, curveball, and slider. Kind of calmed down that fastball. He was throwing a lot of 100, 101s when he first came up. And he's at 94, 95, mostly with his fastball. He's learning how to pitch. I think he might be breaking through, the former number 4 overall pick from LSU. So that's going on. So there we go. Oilers, Colucci, under, Lakers, DM up, and then Marlins and the Orioles. A little bit of everything. Look, got a big PGA tonight. 6:45, we're going to run down all of our golf handicappers. Brady Cannon, Matt Heumann, Dupes and Greer, Sean Harness, Wes Reynolds. The common name, I'll give you a common name so far, some of them that we have in already. Victor Hovland and Cam Smith. So those 2 names are kind of float. They're sort of the common name right now.
Okay.
But 6:45 tonight. Wes Reynolds will be giving his PGA picks at 6:30. PGA rundown at 6:45. Andy Iskoe giving his picks in NBA playoffs. Troy Macker at Bet Rivers at 7 o'clock. Sean Harness, MLB, and PGA picks as well. So busy show here at City Slice Pints and Pizza. We have a handy sighting on campus as well.
Hey, game time with Jimmy Ott following us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com or the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page.
See you, Matthew.
See you. That is Jimmy Ott. Of course, Otter and I are both happy Williamson Eye Center clients. Dr. Blake Williamson can do for you what he did for me, what he did for Jimmy. LASIK for me, a lens replacement for Jimmy, but whatever your refractive issue, if you want to see without contacts or glasses, you got to call Dr. Blake Williamson. It is life-changing, and it can happen for you as well. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEYE.com. WilliamsonEYE.com. All right, it's going to do it for us. Muse, what did you learn today?
Sam Burns can bankrupt Vegas.
Paulie.
4 out of the 8 top recruiting classes for SEC.
Basketball.
What'd you learn, Matt?
Scott Sanders got his major league call-up and thought it was a prank call.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com had an awesome night last night. AFR ended, rolled out of here, went to the box, got to hang out with Joel McMullen and Sean McMullen. Of course, you remember Sean from the 2012 and 2013 LSU baseball teams. Sean now working with Michelli. Joel McMullen, the president and CEO, got to hang out with them, watch some ball, and talk. And you know one of the amazing things? This is one of the reasons I love Michelli. They've been around since 1947. They've grown to 29 offices in 11 different states. They're this great big massive company. And what Joel McMullen did yesterday with Sean in the car as they drove from their office in Harahan up to the game is they would just stop in and just sort of cold call potential clients. Different industries that might need their products and services, just knocked on the present CEO of the company doing that. It's amazing the type of work they do. They're a great company. I couldn't recommend them highly enough. Michelli.com, Michelli.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Yo, Jacob Hester here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, the place that can be at your convenience during those inconvenient times. I know they've been that for me. I've got 4 boys, right? So sometimes stitches happen, and they have 6 convenient locations, one close to you to be able to be convenient for you. Remember, you can also check in online. PatientPlusUC.com is the website. That way you skip the line as well. Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, get in and get better.